Good morning, everyone. This is Thomas Donahue from the Driver's Apex. I've got to clean the garage today. It is an absolute mess. I haven't done it in about 4 or 5 months. It's been kind of crazy with COVID and life and all that other stuff. I've got to figure out what this weird sound is in my, it's either the steering rack or the steering pump. So before I put it up on jack stands, I got to get this place cleaned up. So let's do a little time lapse. I'm out of breath. That was exhausting. That was as quick as I could. I can't even talk right. I tried to sweep and clean up as quick as I could. I'm not trying to bore everybody with a 30-minute long time lapse, but let me show you. Looking a little bit better, so at least I can work on the car in here now. This I've got to work on. Eventually, cabinets, stuff like that will come in, but I've got to start cleaning up all these products. I'm gonna start experimenting with some other products that I've been learning about from other detailers, stuff like that. We're gonna change the oil soon, probably do a little video on that. But let's go ahead and start getting the e30 up on some jack stands. All right, let's back the e30 into the garage. All right, it's such a small car, it's super easy to back in. It's a little sketchy sometimes when you just let the clutch out completely and then take it back into the garage, especially on that right-hand side there. All right, you've probably seen this on my channel before, how I jack up the e30. Because the car is lowered, you cannot get a jack into the front. So once we have it jacked up a little bit, piece of wood first. I like to lift with a piece of wood on the front. So something, yep, like that size. I just like to spread the weight or the load. I don't think it's a good idea to put all of the weight on one small part of the subframe. I don't think I'm going to jack the rear. I think we're just going to do the front. Well, I'll tell you in a minute what I'm going to try and do. I have a couple things I want to do, but it's been on my list for a little while. Alright, so let's pull this back. See if we can get some jack stands. I like the 6-ton jack stands. This gives me a little bit of, I don't know, just comforts me. You know, I'm gonna have a little extra. Plus they lift higher, which I like, than the 3 tons. They're just Harbor Freights. I'm not gonna say anything, because I'll be under the car. I'm trying to jinx myself. That should be good. And then I like to lower it from here because then I can see both frame rails. Make sure that's coming down correctly. Hopefully next time we put the e30 up, we'll have some ST sway bars from CA Tuned. The whole rear end will be from CA Tuned, so rear subframe bushings, rear trailing arm bushings, diff mount, all the welding pieces, the eccentric camber toe kit, all that stuff. So the whole rear end is going to be from Igor at C8 Tune. So take a look at his website. He's got some fantastic, amazing stuff. I wish I could buy everything, but I can't. I'm really trying to focus on retirement, trying to be an adult. Now that I'm 40, oh my gosh, crazy. But yeah, let's go into the car. So what we're gonna have to do before I tell you what we're doing is we're gonna have to remove this shield. I know the local shops hate this shield. That I've got to work on too sometime. That's for the temp sensor for the OBC. Somebody had tied it. It was actually a local shop. I'm not gonna say who it was. I don't think they meant any harm, but the sensor that goes in there, I don't remember what happened, but they just put this to like somewhere and it ripped it out. So that's kind of frustrating. But I've got an annoying creaking groan for the steering. I have a suspicion it's the power steering pump. I hope it's not the rack, but if it is, it's not the end of the world. Of course, other than price, but doing it's not the end of the world. So that's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect the power steering belt, and then we're gonna see if we can't replicate the sound. If the sound is still there, well, guess what? It's the steering rack, and then we'll go from there. You definitely have to be careful as you raise the car with the hood. Gets kind of close. Oh, power steering pump's right down there. So it's typically easier to just get it from the bottom. So that's what we're gonna do. But we're definitely not gonna work on the car with the watch. Why I have it on, I don't know. I'm not trying to flex for anybody. But I really don't wanna scratch up my Rolex. I had another one, a Submariner, and stupid me, I sold it. Oh my gosh, let me tell you this story real quick. Well, I'm getting some glistening here. It's a little warm. Arizona's still really hot for October. It's been getting hotter and hotter every year. Yeah, global warming has to be real, but not trying to go there. I know that can go all kinds of crazy right there. But yeah, Rolex Submariner, bought a Rolex Submariner 2 years ago in December. I knew recently that Rolex was coming out potentially with a new Submariner. Went ahead and contacted Bob's Watches in California, said, want to sell my watch. They were more than eager to get my watch, of course. Stupid me wasn't paying attention to the forums, and that June, I don't remember, but Rolex was coming out with their 2020 models. They had delayed them, and they came out with a brand new Submariner. So I lost a few $1,000s selling that Submariner. That was stupid because that money could have gone right into this car. So that was a stupid, stupid mistake. But I got every penny back and more for that watch. I only wore it a handful of times, but I'm definitely gonna buy another Rolex Submariner sometime. All right, I don't know that I've had all of you along on this in a video underneath my car before like this. So yeah, power steering pump. We're gonna pull this shield. I think we're just gonna move it to the side. There's the Z3 rack. I don't know if we can, it's hard to see. And then there's the clearance. If you put it in that hole, which I actually, some people don't like it in that hole. I actually prefer the steering feel in that hole, but it puts it so close. You can see where, right there where it was rubbing. So back in the day when I had it in that hole, I had to grind that down a little bit, but I actually like it in that hole. It's quite difficult putting it in this hole for some particular reason. I think it's here. If this was just a smidge shorter, the steering linkage would make my life a little bit easier. But yeah, let's go ahead and pull that shield down, and then we're gonna test to see if the sound's coming from the rack or if it's coming from the pump. Hold on. All right, YouTube, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use trusty Harbor Freight, our stethoscope, put it on the pump, we'll put it on the rack. My wife, she's gonna turn the steering wheel in multiple directions, see if we can't replicate this sound. So let me put that in real quick. All right, so go back left and right.
You're going left.
Okay.
Now lock to left, going right.
All right. Okay. I've got to figure out what's going on. It's on the shaft here. All right, y'all. So I've got to figure this out. But the sound, this weird sound is coming from there. So I've got to spend some time figuring out what that might be and what's the remedy. It's quite embarrassing when you go to Cars and Coffee and you back in and you hear this horrible, like, it's not a grinding sound. It's like a rubbing, I don't know, but we'll see if we can get it to replicate it. I'll bring my phone with me and we'll do a drive and see if it won't make that sound. So it only goes to the right, but when I'm backing in, and of course I steer it to the right, it doesn't seem to make it to the left. It's like there's no power steering fluid. So I'm not sure what's going on, but I think we should drive it. And then if I still have that problem, I don't know. Maybe just disconnecting the power steering belt and see if we still have the same problem, just to see if it's the power steering pump. But I couldn't get any weird hums, anything out of the power steering pump using a stethoscope. So I don't think it's the pump. I don't think it's the rack. I sadly think maybe, I'm wondering if it's not a bearing. We're on a hunt for the fog lamp wire. When I was putting everything back together, I think somehow I hid that wire. So I have the passenger side working, but not the driver's side, simply because it's not plugged in. So we're gonna go searching for this bad boy. Yep, so let's work on that. I guess I was just super excited when I was putting everything back. I think I just sent it anyways, but now it's getting dark sooner. I actually enjoy having the fog lights. So we'll button all this back up. So yeah, so if you're curious, this is the wire for the thermostat for the radiator. And Igor, I know I sound like a fanboy here, but Igor's super dope. He's always willing to help me, and I can't thank him enough. But he taught me this little trick about putting the thermostat in the headlamp cover, and it looks so much more custom instead of it sitting somewhere else. And then, yep, there's the sensor there. I tried putting it in here, but it just leaks. It's kind of annoying, but it looks pretty good there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and button everything back. Yeah, I think that looks so clean. I love this radiator, especially if you live in Arizona where it's 110, 115. I've been 115 sitting in traffic idling with this fan combo, no overheating whatsoever. It goes 1/16th or so above half, so like just a tick over half. We'll go ahead and put the smileys. We'll put them back in. These things are super awesome too. I'm gonna have to follow up with Igor. I think he sells some aftermarket fog lamps because those are super cracked. If you have some and you want to sell them and they're in good condition, let me know. But yeah, all of this is gonna get sent out for paint. All right, everyone, I think that's a wrap. So here's what I think I figured out. I think the steering shaft, the steering column shaft, is bent. So I couldn't get it on video, but I can see it in person. So when the wheels turn left to right, you can see a wobble. I think there's a bearing in there. I'm thinking possibly that bearing is bad. There's something going on there where it's causing a little bit of binding. I think that's what's the problem. I don't know what I'm gonna do quite yet. Look for follow-up on that. I didn't take the pulley off the power steering pump. I didn't think that was quite necessary. But I still might do that in the future. I put a stethoscope to the power steering pump. There was no grinding, no ticking, no nothing, just normal fluid flush sound in a pump. Same thing for the steering rack, so I didn't see any need in doing that. So I think it's in the steering shaft. If it's wobbling, that means it's putting pressure somewhere, and that could be that noise that we're hearing. I'm gonna try and get it on video sometime. If you don't follow me on Instagram, look for a post on Instagram. I might post it in a story or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this video, edit it. Look for more videos. I'm starting to get really excited getting back into filming and editing. If you like this video, thumbs up. Definitely subscribe. We're getting close to 100. I can wait for that, and then we're just gonna keep on moving forward. All right, peace. think I might be able to get the vibration sound. I just don't know what the heck. All right, so the video is not over actually, and I am back. So what I did was got back in the car. I'll throw a quick video in there. I think you might be able to hear the sound. Sound was there. I was like, I just don't know if that's that steering shaft. So I went ahead, pulled off the belt real quick. I don't hear any sound, so I'm thinking it's power steering belt. So just a heads up, that's what I think is causing that horrible humming, grinding, whatever sound. It's not really a grinding sound. But it's a horrible vibration that you can feel through the car when you're turning the wheel. So I think I'm going to be ordering a power steering pump. So there you go. That's what I think the diagnosis is. Bad power steering pump under a load. Tested the power steering pump before, not on a load. Couldn't really hear anything with a stethoscope. Put it on a load or under a load, the weight of the car and everything. And that's when we really hear those problems. So power steering pump.